In a recent poll, 72% of Sun readers have picked Tyson Fury to beat Anthony Joshua in the Battle of Britain undisputed world heavyweight title fight. Hopefully, when it happens. This is not surprising, of course, because Anthony Joshua has looked a lot more vulnerable in recent fights than Tyson Fury has looked. Anthony Joshua did win the Andy Ruiz rematch comprehensively, but there was still vulnerability there. Whenever Andy Ruiz started unloading, AJ looked uncomfortable. And that sticks in the minds of boxing fans. Tyson Fury, on the other hand, went in there against Deontay Wilder, a guy who was being touted as the biggest punching heavyweight of all time, a guy who was looking devastating, coming off a series of knockout wins. And I mean devastating in the eyes of most fans. I wasn't particularly impressed with his Luis Ortiz win. I thought the first win was more impressive than the second win. But anyway, in the minds of most fans, this is how they were thinking of Wilder as this destructive puncher and this just very, very dangerous force. And Tyson Fury went in there and didn't just beat the guy, but he beat him at his own game. The hunter in Wilder became the hunted. Tyson Fury took it to him, beat him up, and stopped him. That was massively impressive to boxing fans, including myself. I mean, I was hugely impressed with Tyson Fury's performance. But I'm not so confident that Tyson Fury would beat Anthony Joshua as 72% of the Sun readers are. And I know some people are going to say, because you're a Joshua fanboy, hat man. Well, actually, I'm not. But if that's what you want to believe, if that's what helps you sleep at night, go ahead and believe that. Because whenever you are objective like myself, in the eyes of a fanboy, objectivity looks like bias. In the eyes of a fanboy, if you're not sucking up to that fighter as much as they are, then you need to be attacked. In their mind, everybody should be behaving in that same fanboyish way towards one particular fighter. And if you're not behaving in a fanboyish way towards that fighter, you'll be attacked. You'll be called every name under the sun. And that's what you get. But no, the reason why I'm not so confident Tyson Fury beats AJ is because what I've seen in the heavyweight division over the past 30 years and beyond that, because of course I wasn't around watching boxing in the 70s, but I grew up in the 80s watching boxing from the 70s on VHS videotapes. And Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Joe Frazier, they were still household names in the 1980s. Nowadays, you probably ask most millennials, most people, if they heard of George Foreman, Ken Norton, they haven't heard of him. But when I was growing up in the 80s, these were household names. People who weren't even massive boxing fans had heard these names. Certainly a lot of people. So the first heavyweight boxing era I really studied in great depth was the 70s. That's what I was exposed to most of all. The 80s, that's when I started watching boxing, but it was all Mike Tyson. So I didn't really become as familiar with a lot of the fighters in the 80s, other than Mike Tyson, as I did later on when I went back and started looking more at 80s fighters and whatever. In the 80s, I was really just a Mike Tyson guy. Mike Tyson, Frank Bruno, a couple other British fighters. The 90s is the era where I really was watching boxing day in, day out. Any little boxing match I saw on television, even if it was an area level fight, I'd watch it, I'd tape it. I became completely obsessed, probably from about 89, 90, from that period on, all the way through secondary school or high school. I was just an absolute boxing maniac, totally obsessed with the sport. And so the heavyweight division was always my favorite because I tended to gravitate towards it being a heavyweight myself. And obviously I was a big fan of the 70s era and of course Muhammad Ali in the 60s before that particular era, before Ali's hiatus. He beat Sonny Liston. The Ali story, I watched so many documentaries and whatnot about it and saw so many fights. Back then, you used to have to mail order fights on VHS. There was certain fights or certain clips of fights they show in documentaries, but if you actually wanted to watch the full fights from back in the 70s, you had to mail order them on VHS. In the back of magazines like Boxing Monthly, they used to have advertisements for, boxing mail order fights. So you'd have to call them up and say, have you got this fight? Have you got that fight? Or write to them. Sometimes they'd actually give you a list of all the fights they have in the back of these boxing magazines, and you'd, write it all down in a letter and send it away from the post office with the money or whatever. This is the fights I want. So yeah, you had to go through all that rigmarole. And I studied Ali, Frazier, Norton, that era. I saw how there's no linear logic in boxing. Just because fighter A beats fighter B, and fighter B beats fighter C, it doesn't mean fighter C can't beat fighter A. So I discovered that then. I also discovered in the early 90s when Mike Tyson lost to Buster Douglas that there's no such thing as an invincible fighter, because in terms of public perception, Mike Tyson is the closest thing to an invincible fighter that I've ever seen in boxing in terms of public perception, because people believed, including myself at one point, people believed that Mike Tyson was invincible. And that myth was destroyed for me in February 1990 in Tokyo. So I learned a lesson from that to some extent. Not a big enough lesson, because I made the same mistake when he fought Holyfield. I thought that he would destroy Holyfield. Holyfield was over the hill. Holyfield was a 25-1 underdog. Holyfield had his license suspended or revoked because of a health condition involving his heart. Holyfield had been stopped by Riddick Bowe. Holyfield had lost to Michael Moorer. Holyfield didn't look great against Bobby Ches. I was thinking, nah, this guy is going to get ran through by Mike Tyson. He's a small guy as well, small heavyweight, and Tyson usually destroys small heavyweights. But again, I learned the lesson the hard way. There's no such thing as an invincible fighter. Just because one guy looks devastating in the run-up to a fight doesn't necessarily mean he's going to win it. It's all about style. It's all about who can rise to the occasion on the night. And that's a very long preamble. Apologies. But when I think of Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury, Tyson Fury is an erratic character. Anthony Joshua is a more stable character. Tyson Fury is more fiery, and he might have more self-belief than Anthony Joshua, particularly at this stage. But that might work against Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is surrounded by people who are telling him that the AJ fight is easy. You got Shane Fury saying it. You got John Fury saying it. You got Billy Joe Saunders saying it. You got Tommy Fury saying it. All these people around Tyson Fury telling him it's an easy fight. And now you've got 72% of Sun readers telling him that he's going to win. You've got loads of, probably millions of boxing fans right now saying that Tyson Fury is going to win. He's human at the end of the day. That might get to Tyson Fury. And I mean, it might make him complacent. It might make him think he's going to go in there and just do whatever he wants with AJ. And look, I'm telling you now, people, AJ has skills that Deontay Wilder doesn't have. Deontay Wilder's got that big right hand. AJ's got more than just one punch you need to look out for. AJ's also got a right hand from long range. He's also got an uppercut. Much better than Wilder's uppercut. He's much better on the inside than Wilder. He's got a much better left hook than Wilder. He's got better balance than Wilder. He moves in and out of range better than Wilder. We now know he's got a back foot game. He's a better counterpuncher than Deontay Wilder. He throws a very good check hook. AJ's just got way more technical attributes than Deontay Wilder. So while what Tyson Fury did against Wilder was very impressive and very effective, he was doing it against a technically limited fighter. A guy who has this big right hand and it's a tremendous shot. But if you take that away from him, there's not much else there. With AJ, there is a lot more there, and there's a lot more to look out for. AJ's got a very good counter right hand over a lazy jab. He's got a very good left hook that he can throw as a check hook and also a lead hook. AJ's left hook, I'm telling you this now, people, AJ's left hook is one of the most underrated punches in the heavyweight division. People talk about Dylan White's left hook. Do not underestimate AJ's left hook. Ask Andy Ruiz. Obviously, he dropped Ruiz with it, but even before he dropped Ruiz, go and look at that first Ruiz fight again, the first and second round. Look how many times AJ landed lead left hooks. Very good with that punch. He's very sharp with it. He picks it nicely. He can lead off. There's not many fighters who actually lead off with the left hook. And I'm talking about heavyweights here. And they're able to do it accurately and land it well. Vladimir Klitschko used to be able to do it. Tyson Fury occasionally lead off with a left hook, but not that often. But Anthony Joshua does it frequently, and he is very accurate when he leads off with that left hook. Tyson Fury was caught with a left hook against Tom Schwartz in the first round. Well, I'm telling you now, people, if Anthony Joshua is able to catch him with left hooks, it's going to hurt a lot more than Tom Schwartz. So, again, my experience growing up, watching heavyweight boxing, studying heavyweight boxing for the past 30 years plus, it makes me a little hesitant to be so confident that Tyson Fury is going to beat AJ. I think it's more complicated than a lot of people realize. But obviously the casuals don't understand the complexities of boxing. That's okay. As somebody who has a greater understanding of the complexities and has seen a lot more, I'm going to hedge my bets. Do you know what I mean? I'm not so confident that Tyson Fury beats him. Maybe he does. Maybe Tyson Fury does an even quicker job on Anthony Joshua than he did on Deontay Wilder. But I don't know. My experience as a boxing fan over the past 30 plus years makes me hesitant to go for that. I'm looking at all the variables. Tyson Fury, very good fighter, very good technically, but he's going to have to worry more. He's going to have to be more, let me not say worry, but he's going to have to be mindful of a lot more when it comes to tackling Anthony Joshua from a technical point of view. There's a lot more for Fury to watch out for. With Wilder, it's just the right hand. When Wilder cocks the right hand, you take a step back. That's it. With AJ, there's a lot more than that. So, yeah, look, maybe the 72% of Sun readers will be right, but I guess we won't find out until, at the very earliest, the end of this year, more realistically, 2021. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I know a lot of Tyson Fury fans are saying it's an easy fight for Fury. If I was you, I wouldn't be telling yourselves that. I wouldn't be saying that all the time. Fury needs to take AJ very seriously. Fury has always been... See, Fury's best performances have come when he's the underdog. What happens when everyone in the country or the majority are saying this is an easy fight for Fury and all the people around him are saying it? What happens then? He's not the underdog in that situation, is he? He is the favorite. Does he still produce a great performance like he did the 2 times he was a big underdog? So if you're a Fury fan, you should really, if you want him to win, you should really be encouraging him and encouraging other Fury fans to take that fight seriously and view AJ as a dangerous opponent. That's what you should be doing. Deontay Wilder didn't do that with Tyson Fury. He was talking about, I'm going to knock him out in a couple rounds and this, that, and the other. And all the idiotic PBC fanboys were egging Wilder on and saying, yeah, it's going to be easy. When you create this culture of, what's the word I'm looking for? You create a culture of like complacency. It contributes to the fighter's mentality. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's Hatman, I'm out. Hatman merch is now available. We got t-shirts, vests, hoodies, and more. Just click the link below. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up There's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.